Baseball with Jesse Rogers, brought to you by. Good morning, Jesse. How are you?
Doing well, boys. Good morning to you guys. What's happening?
Oh, you know what's happening, man. Cubs and Sox. I got Sox angst this morning, Jesse. I told Kap to start things like, look, it's one thing to be able to win at home against Atlanta and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's another thing to lose the way they have and get beat down by the Tigers and the Yankees. 8 straight home series wins, 7 straight road series losses. Not a good formula.
No, it's not. But I warned everybody, like, losing Murakami was going to catch up to them. And I feel like it kind of did on that road trip, especially against Detroit there, where you just don't have that ability to extend a lead or come from behind a little bit better than they have in the past. And you got to keep up with the Yankees offense, and they weren't able to do that either. Like, there was going to be a rough patch, especially without Murakami, and it finally appeared. And the fact that it happened on the road makes sense to me. But remember what they did to Atlanta. Remember what they did to the Dodgers. I would not feel like that badly after this sweep. Yes, how it ended was bad, and we could talk about both sides of town because both managers under the gun, under fire with their fan bases when it comes to the decisions they made, pulling both of their starters Saturday and Sunday at 77 and 78 pitches. But this happens all over the place. You second guess your manager. At the end of the day, the Sox are in a really good place, about to take on the Guardians. They're trying to navigate without, obviously, arguably their best power hitter, and they hit a snag. But now they're back at home where they win a lot, Jay Hood. And you gotta chalk it up to, hey, man, it comes for everybody. There's moments for every team, and they finally hit one with the White Sox. And it took a long time to hit one, right? They've been doing so well, and they finally hit this moment, and let's see how they respond.
So please explain to me, like, okay, he's Colin Ray, I get it, but Davis Martin is a stud, an absolute stud this year. Will he be a stud for the next 10 years? I don't know that. He has to write that, paint that picture, write that story. But Davis Martin goes out yesterday and throws 77 pitches over 6 innings of 5 hits, 1 earned, 3 walk, 4K baseball. He got 9 ground balls out of his 17 outs. Please explain to me why you would pull him specifically in that situation.
No, that's a great way of putting it, because you're right. It's not like Colin Ray is Sandy Koufax. You can kind of make that argument a little bit more. But in both cases, I would have left each starter in. However, I understand the thinking. He had given up 6 hits and 3 walks. That's a lot of traffic 5 hits and 3 walks. It's a lot of traffic. Now, he kept getting ground ball double plays. That's what great pitchers do. But I agree with you. I would have left him in another inning. But this wasn't a classic Davis Martin start. He was coming off an awful one. So sometimes when you come off a bad one, you come back and you have a good one for 6. They want to get you out before things go south. It was, again, 8 base runners, 5 hits, 3 walks in 6 innings, tons of traffic. So that's what he's thinking. Let's just get 9 outs from our relievers. And I know people are, leave Grant Taylor in. Well, Grant Taylor gave up a home run too, by the way. He gave up a home run.
He did.
So, and Sir Anthony Dominguez, I agree, has not been great. Still a mid-3 ERA. He's blown 4 saves, and they've been kind of spread out, like 1 a month. So it's not like he's been bad for 5 games in a row, and they keep sending him back out there. I didn't love how it ended, but I sort of understood in this case taking him out, Cap, but I did not agree with it. I absolutely would have left Davis Martin in, even more than, like you just said, Colin Ray, because Davis Martin has been your ace. And even if he is giving up traffic, he can probably squeeze 1 more inning out of it the way his season's going.
Agreed.
Any intel on why Grant Taylor's been absent leading into yesterday's game?
Well, all I can tell you is what I heard publicly, and that's they were saving him for the right moments because they had lost a few games in a row. And I understand he's a plus reliever. You want to bring him in when you're leading a game that is winnable. So that's the only answer I can give you, Jay Hood. They only want to use him in moments where they know it's important and they're going to win a game.
That's a little bit too much rust for me. I mean,
Might
even
be.
Well, even in the blowout, you'd have let him go out for an inning just to get some rust off.
just somebody to stop the bleeding. And as far as Dominguez is concerned, like I told Cap this morning, and like I keep hearing about the salary. I'm just saying, like, in a high leverage situation, and you can give me the back of the baseball card if you want, Jesse. You read those numbers. He's just too much of a high wire act for me. He just is. Like, if you're serious about really contending, if you're going to go on a roll, that guy can't not be there for you in the ninth. He just can't be.
Who were you using then?
Well, Grant Taylor is the answer to the question. Like I'd rather have him than this high wire act and Dominguez. It's not sustainable enough for me. It's too wild.
It makes sense. He's decided to use Grant Taylor in the biggest moments against the best players on the other team, right? Like in the 8th inning, if the middle of the order comes up, he's going to Grant Taylor. However, if Dominguez, for whatever reason, just can't get over the hump in the 9th and he's better in the 7th and 8th, which he is, and we don't know why, could be between the ears, then that might override the idea that Grant Taylor has to face the best. There's a reason, there's a mentality about the 9th inning, right? And Dominguez has done it before, but not like Mariano Rivera. Right. So I don't disagree with you, Jay Hood. He might have to tweak it and just go like, hey, here's your role in the 8th. Here's your role, Grant Taylor, in the 9th. We need to go that route. But right now, he's using Grant Taylor in the bigger moments against the other team's best players. And we can argue that.
He's given up runs his last 3 outings, Grant Taylor. He has 1, 2, and 1. But I agree with you that he is a better pitcher than Sir Anthony Dominguez.
At this time. I'm just talking about what I've been seeing. He just gives me agina, Jesse, when he gets in there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And even when he gets out of it, he's a higher wire act. He's a walk 2 guys, get a ground ball, get a pop-up, walk another. He does that. He's been pretty good at getting out of it in his career. This year, not so much. It is still, like I said, a 3.86 ERA. But it stunk to get swept that way. You had the game in your hands, and you blew it.
So as you look at that White Sox team, and there was a report, I think yesterday, Shea texted it to us, that the cost to acquire the guy I kept hearing the White Sox liked, Reed Detmers, the cost to acquire him will be substantially more than getting Tarek Skubal because you've got 2 more arbitration years with Reed Detmers. So do you think the White Sox are going to part with their best prospects to try and fortify this team? Or no, they'll make a marginal move like the Cubs did last year. We can all complain, but they're building something bigger for the future.
Well, if the standings are what they are today and they actually have a chance at a bye, I do think they'd part with 1 good prospect. I don't think multiple. I think they would part with 1 good prospect to bring in. It could be a guy with control, but why not just do the rental move right now? Just that doesn't cost you as much. Do the rental move. 1 okay prospect for 2 months of a pitcher, of Robbie Ray or whoever. Yeah, so I mean, but I don't know if you consider that a marginal move or not. I consider if you're trading for a pitcher that could pitch in the playoffs, that's more than a marginal move. And whether it be Robbie Ray or someone else, I do think that's the type of player they will go after. Reed Detmers is a bigger fish, which is not impossible either, because if you're trading a decent prospect, you're getting Reed Detmers, who's with your team for several years. But I just don't know if they'll do that bigger deal. I think that, hey, we got 1 shot. We got a shot here. Let's just get somebody in here that looks better than what we have on the mound now. So I do think they'll part with 1 cap. I don't know if they'll do a bigger deal for a guy like Reed Detmers, though. I'm not sure about that.
Jesse, I saw more of the Phillies-Mets series than I care to admit. And let me tell you, the Mets playing non-competitive baseball 2 of the 3 of those games, and now the Cubs play them. Yeah. There really is no excuse for the Cubs not to roll in there to be able to beat the Mets, because the Mets are just flat, Jesse. It's flat. But again, we try to define what Cubs baseball is. We don't know what that is, but it should be defined against the Mets here. They should be able to roll past them, don't you think?
You would think so. Played a night game last night, had to go back to New York late, whatever, not that far of a trip. But the point is the Cubs had the day off after the rain out. But we've been waiting. And every time they seem to get going, they stumble somewhere. And that's a problem with this team. There's just too many leaks in the dam right now, right? Little bit of the bullpen, that happened Saturday. Starting pitching's been up and down, other than Ben Brown. And we know this offense has slowly but surely been coming out of it. But is there a run ready for the Cubs? And they're not great on the road either, by the way. But you're right, Jay Hood. No reason you can't win this series on the road. And then you go to Milwaukee and hopefully you can at least win a game at this point, the way the Brewers are playing. But I'm with you.
He's
Like
laughing at you.
I'm waiting. We're all waiting for another Cubs run, and there's some signs. There are some signs it could happen. It sucks they blew a 5-0 lead on Saturday. That would have felt really good going on this road trip.
78-1, Jesse, since 2022 per Boog Shambi on the broadcast. 78-1 going into that game since 2022 when they had a 5-run or bigger lead at Wrigley.
That's why I'm not losing my mind. I know everyone's ripping Craig Counsell for every single move, and we can go through them. But they have like 9 walk-off wins, okay? So how many teams have they done that to, where they've come from behind or walked it off in a tie game?
I didn't blast them. I did not blast them. I did not.
3, not 1, 2, but 3 relievers blow it. Thornton, Thielbar, and Webb all gave it up. It's 5-0.
Thielbar right now stinks.
Yeah, they're gonna have to think about that. But think about that bullpen. Think about that bullpen. It was supposed to be Palencia, Phil Maton, Hunter Harvey, at least guys making money that you've heard of. It's these guys trying to lock it down, and for the first time in a long time, they blew a lead. Go ahead, Jay Hood.
I was going to say, Jesse, you had the quote of the weekend. Would you like to quote what Webb told you in the locker room? Well, wow.
I effing blew it. I mean, a bunch of F-bombs by Jacob Webb. He was really upset with himself. You like the accountability. Sitting at his locker on Saturday, walk in there, and, a few reporters went over to Matt Shaw, who had a home run, but the Cubs lost, and this guy's the reason, they lost it. So a few of us peeled off and went over to Jacob Webb, and he just stood there and F-bombed himself about his performance, not just that day, his last several outings. He understands he's the guy right now, or one of them. He's a guy. He's an important guy, and it just sucks that Thielbar's down. Palencia's down. It sucks that Hunter Harvey hasn't thrown a pitch, and it sucks that Phil Maton can't find his game. It's left to a guy like Jacob Webb and Trent Thornton, and they gave it up. And the Colin Ray move, Cap, I'm glad he didn't blast him because it was 1st and 3rd, 1 out, 3-0. Colin Ray has given up a ton of home runs. It's 3-0. I would have left him in, but I understand the thinking. Nathan Lukes, 350 against righties, like 150 against lefties.
Yeah,
Ralston comes in.
I didn't have a problem with the move.
It's 1 pitch, double play. Now, that does start the merry-go-round of relievers, the parade of relievers, which eventually cost them. But I don't have a big problem with the move. You go back, Ray could give up a 3-run home run very easily.
Okay, one thing. We wake up this morning, the Chicago Cubs are in the playoffs. If you look at MLB.com's wildcard standings, they're in. If the season ended right now, that's a playoff team. And Cub fans, me included, we feel like, oh, boy, we're just not very good. They're a playoff team. So how aggressive does the front office get? Or is Carter worried about 2038?
No, I mean, I think they'll be aggressive in this sense.
Yeah.
They've got this logjam of major league players, right? Matt Shaw is showing you something right now.
He's got to play every day.
Yeah, and I think he will. That's why Moises went down. So you have Moises as a trade bait. You have Pedro Ramirez. The infield's all locked up. Where's he going to play? At least Matt Shaw could be your starting left fielder or right fielder next year. So I think Moises Ballesteros and or Pedro Ramirez could be trade bait, and that's not bad. These were major league caliber players. This isn't like a single A prospect. So you do have something there, and that you're not going to destroy your prospect base from because these guys are blocked. So I do think they'll be aggressive in some sense. Not necessarily selling the farm because they're not going to get the buy at this point, but you have a chance to make the playoffs. You've got to do something on that rotation. You have to. So again, the Robbie Rays of the world. See, I'm avoiding the Tarek Skubal conversation, Cap, because I just don't think either team would have that appetite, especially, the Sox are in the same division.
Fred Peralta, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rental you'd be interested in, even though he gave it up against the Mets, but, maybe a change of scenery there. It's probably similar to the Sox. I don't know if the Cubs would give up their top prospects, but I do think Pedro Ramirez or Moises, for that matter, could be trade bait. And those are not bad, guys to, in terms of getting a pitcher back.
I understand you have a podcast coming up, Jesse. Tell us about it.
Yes, Inside the Friendly Confines. I've done it for a couple weeks now. Now this week we got a couple special guests on. I talked to Jason Kipnis last week, but tomorrow John Maley, hitting coach of the Chicago Cubs, is going to join me. I know a lot of people Want to hear from the hitting coaches. The hitting's been a problem lately, although they're coming out of it a little bit. So John Maley joins me later in the week before the Cubs play the Brewers. We're going to go inside American Family Field. Matt Arnold is going to join me before the Cubs play the Brewers over the weekend. So John Maley, Tuesday, later in the week, it'll be Matt Arnold. So looking forward to that.
So it's going to
Why
be
is
great
he
to
having Roseanne's husband on?
not that Arnold. So there's Jesse. He'll be inside the clubhouse talking to players and coaches.
By the
It's
way,
gonna be
Jay
great.
Hood, By the way, happy Father's Day to you guys. I'm at
too.
Father's Day. I'm at Father's Day breakfast. I'm trying to have a nice day off yesterday. I pick up the menu at Espresso in Glenview, and it says the David Kaplan.
Yeah.
The David Kaplan. I'm like, the waiter says, "Do you want the David Kaplan?" I said, "Only if it comes with a lake house in Oshkosh. I'll have the David Kaplan." and I said, "Don't you?"
The oldest brewery in America.
I said, "Don't you want the Jesse Rogers or Jonathan Hood on this menu?" And he said, "Who?"
There it is.
That's it.
We
That's
don't
it. So
Right.
I didn't get the cap, but I thought about it. How about that, Cap? I
It's
thought
delicious.
about it.
Would you be?
Oh, hey, we got to go.
All right, will
Just
you be at
text
the
him.
draft?
Yes, I will be there. Yep.
There you go.
I've got I got some good Sox coverage coming up for the draft. Absolutely.
Will you be in Milwaukee on Friday?
I will see you guys in Milwaukee as well.
We'll
right.
be there. Come sit with us.
Jesse
100%.
Rogers, brought to you
See
by.
you, boys.
Atomatic, ATOmatic.com. Get your air conditioning up to snuff for the hot days that we hope are coming.
Shot or no shot coming your way next on Kap and J Hood.